Today's devotional comes from 1 John chapter 5, verses 14 and 15. And this is the confidence that we have toward him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we have the requests that we have asked of him.
I would be surprised if that verse does not create some confusion and tension in your thinking. We can all think of situations where that verse does not seem to ring true. Take, for example, a couple whose child was born 6 weeks early. They prayed diligently that the child will survive, but it doesn't happen. The child dies. So what happened? It would seem that according to this verse, the couple was not praying according to God's will. How can we sort this out? We must begin with an understanding of what is meant by praying according to God's will. It is essential that we distinguish between God's moral will and his sovereign will. If we want to know God's moral will, all we have to do is look into the Bible. God's moral will is found in his commands, and it also reflects God's character. For example, murder, adultery, stealing, and lying are all an example of God's moral will. God is truth, so lying is wrong. On the other hand, if we want to know God's sovereign will, say the outcome of a military engagement or perhaps that of a basketball game, we must wait until the outcome to the next day. When we say God is sovereign, it means that there's nothing outside of his control. There are no accidents with God. Nothing takes him by surprise. But because of sin and the introduction of evil into the world, God's moral and sovereign wills are not the same. There is much that happens in the world today that is not according to his moral will. God sovereignly restrains evil. He allows evil a limited scope of expression. However, there is coming a time when all evil will be judged and Christ will return. Creation will be redeemed. The curse will be removed. God's moral will and sovereign will then coincide. But until that time, we trust God's wisdom and purpose. Concerning God's mysterious ways, Paul said, "Oh, the depths of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments and how inscrutable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord? Or who has been his counselor? Or who has given a gift to him that it might be repaid? For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be glory forever. Amen." Let me close with the words of Pastor Philip Brooks. He said, "Nothing lies beyond the reach of prayer except that which lies beyond the will of God." Have a nice day.